Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, let's talk about making people do stuff. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser, your host for today, and pretty much every day that you come into the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. It is my pleasure to do so. I hope you're finding this enjoyable. If there's something specific that I have not covered yet, or you're burning to ask more questions about, or just overall generally interested in some aspect of leadership, sales, marketing, something of that nature, please let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email, kale@kalehouserleadership.com. You can drop a comment in the platform wherever you are listening to this, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or CastBox or Spotify or YouTube, whatever the place. Let me know. Reach out. I am always willing and happy to respond and certainly entertain requests as they come in. But that being said, I want to talk a little bit today about making people do stuff. Now, a lot of conceptual ideas when it comes to leadership is you have this idea of I'm in charge. That means you must do what I say. I'm the one that's providing the direction and telling people what to do. It's a very easy jump in our common understanding of what leadership means and what leadership is in actual practicality, like everyday leadership is. It's telling people what to do. And it really couldn't be further from the truth if that's what your thinking is, because that is very much what I would consider kind of a middle class to poor mentality of what leadership is. Leadership is not telling people what to do. There really shouldn't be very often that you're telling people what to do. Now, don't confuse this with teaching, because there are certainly tasks that you probably need to teach people how to do something. But once they've learned the concept, once they've learned the tasks and the actions required, whether it be filling out forms or putting pieces together in the factory, whatever that is, mixing ingredients on your recipe, there's a difference between teaching and then being the leader. And I want to differentiate those two, because once you become the leader, once you set yourself up as a leader and you create this team, you create people around you that have bought into your vision, they bought into your goals, they bought into the direction that you are saying you want to take your company or your team. That's where you lead. That's where you're no longer saying, Sally, you're going to do this. John, you're going to do this. Steve, you're going to do this. Rick, you're going to do that. Right? You're getting out of that mode of being somebody that's just telling people what to do all the time. Now, like I said, certainly there will be opportunities to teach. There will be opportunities to explain especially if you've got new people coming onto your team. You need to impart your vision to them. You need to impart the mission of your organization. You need to impart the goals and the targets that you guys are after. But that is not telling them what to do. Now, again, don't get this mixed up with like a job description. I'm hiring you to be an accountant for my company. The job description for you to be a successful accountant is, XYZBDA123, right? All the tasks that person as part of their job performance duties are outlined. In a sense, that is telling them what to do to be successful at the position. But that's not you every day showing up and saying, Sally, you need to make sure you run the numbers from last week's sales or last quarter's, or we've got this meeting coming up, so I need you to do this and this and this and this. Like, that's not leadership. That's managerial tasks. And if you've listened to any of my guest speakers that I've had on my podcast, I always ask each one of them, because I think it's so fascinating. And certainly there are some commonalities in their answers, but there's been a couple of kind of outlier and different answers about what is their interpretation, the difference between a leader and a manager in the business sense. And this is really the root of the issue. Managers typically are the ones telling, they're the ones directing, they're the ones coming up with the plan and then implementing the procedures, the resources, the policies in order to execute on that plan. Versus the leader is the one showing the direction. They're the one communicating the vision in order to get, whatever goal or task need to be accomplished for that business. And I'll throw another aspect of this into it, because I've talked about this too before in my podcast, is about commanders tell people what to do. Now, ideally, coming out of my military background, and those of you that are veterans and have served before, or if you've been in some sort of, whether it be law enforcement or some sort of organizations that's set up like a military structure as far as chain of command and all that kind of stuff, commanders tell people what to do. Ideally, you want a commander to be a leader, and they understand the importance of that, of what it means to lead their troops, to lead their airmen, their seamen, their sailors. What do you call a Coast Guardman. Sorry if you're a Coast Guard. I forget what the term is for you guys at the moment. That's not the correct one. Let's put it that way. But you don't want to be a commander. If you are outside in the world, just, in your small town USA and you're running your business, you cannot afford to be a commander. It will only get you so far. It may help as you kind of are building your business where you need to be more directive, you need to be more hands-on as people are learning and you're going through those teaching moments of like, no, you can't do it this way, you need to do it this way. But then once people understand that, you need to now lead them of like, why is it important we do it this way? Why? What is the end result? How is that contributing to our overall mission? How do each piece of the puzzles fit together to create this whole massive thing in this movement for us all to be successful? And that's really I wanted to leave you with today, a little bit shorter one, as far as leaders don't make people do anything. And that's what I want to leave with you today. Leaders don't make people do anything. They show them the way. They hopefully get their buy-in on why we're doing these things, why we're putting this effort in, why we're putting these resources towards these different projects in order for us all to be successful. And if you find yourself having to tell people all the time, if that is your go-to, like, Sally, you need to do this, you're sitting up there and you're handing out tasks, right, as part of your everyday duties, I would argue you are definitely falling more towards the managerial side of leadership versus actual, what I would consider true leadership. And if that's something that you struggle with, please reach out and let us know, because that is what we do here at Kale Houser Leaderships. We help people create amazing teams, and we help you as a leader become an amazing leader. Or if you're already a great leader, we help you get better, and we help you create other leaders within your organization so everyone can improve and everyone can get better. Does that make sense? So I wanted to just give a shout out to, we had a really interesting meeting today, my wife and I, with a potential client, and in just talking with them, man, it became so evident that they had such a passion for their people as they're it was a larger organization. So they had several layers of leadership and managers and supervisors and regional managers, all those types of things. But it was so evident their passion for their people that they really had that leadership mentality of, we're here to equip our people. We're here to empower our people. We're here to show them the way and what's possible and why we're doing this, why this mission of our company is so important. But they were, struggling with the aspects of leadership in the sense of, the kind of like what a lot of companies are facing right now of people not showing up to work, people not wanting to work, people not understanding the vision. And just in talking with them, there's absolutely a couple little cultural shifts that we can help them make that will really skyrocket their whole culture and their whole workplace. It'll flow out into their performance, it'll flow out to their retention, into their hiring and attracting the right people. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll have some, really good news in the future that I can share with you all about that. But that being said, if you're out there, rest assured there are people that do care. There are people that actually want to be good leaders, and sometimes they just get stuck in not knowing how to do it, right? They've tried things and failed. They've tried this and that and they failed, or have setbacks or had pushback. But the reality is anyone can learn to be a great leader. There are things you can do. Yes, it may take you changing some things in your mind. It may take you changing some of your attitudes and the way you talk to people. But it is possible and you are capable of it. So let us help you do that if you are struggling at all in that manner. If you are a new leader and you're coming into a position, you're like, holy smokes, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Please make sure you go to kalehouserleadership.com/mistakes. kalehouserleadership.com/mistakes, MISTAKES. And you can download my free ebook of the top 10 biggest mistakes that new leaders make and how you can correct them before it gets too late. It's totally free. So make sure you visit that today. There'll be a link in the description of wherever you are listening to this or watching this. And I'd love to help you that way. Again, reach out if there's anything we can do for you, no matter where you're at in the world. Have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.